Hello everyone, hope all of you are doing good. So welcome to day 14. We've already discussed the state comprehensively, okay, but there are two vital questions which we will be discussing in depth. Because students usually have confusion, I have taken these areas, all right? Now, so let's take the question of the day. So the question is reading, however autonomous of class, the liberal state may appear. However autonomous of the class, the liberal state may appear, it is not autonomous of sex. Male power is systemic, coercive, legitimized, and epistemic. It is the regime. Catherine MacKinnon analyze. So let's decode the question first. So Catherine MacKinnon, question 1, is saying that even if it appears that the liberal state is autonomous of a particular class, okay, right? However, it is not. Why? Because it is not autonomous of sex. And what all dimensions? It is coercive, it is epistemic, and it is the regime. It is the regime. Let me still get the question components to you. Yes, legitimized, coercive, and legitimized. Now, how do we decode this question? This question is about what? So firstly, understand this question is by a radical feminist. The statement is of a radical feminist. And if we understand the feminist theory of state, the radical feminists are critical of the liberal state. Why they are critical of the liberal state? Obviously, underlying idea is they are also critical of the liberal feminism. What is the basis of criticism of liberal feminism? Is that liberal feminism argues that political and legal equality is enough for women's empowerment. Okay? But what do the radical feminists argue? No, this is not the way. So when liberals say if political and legal equality, if this is removed, I mean the barriers to these equalities are removed, then feminism can be attained, equal status for women can be attained. So what is the role of state? So liberal feminists give a positive role and they do not criticize the state. So they say state is neutral in that sense. They say state is neutral. But radical feminists highlight which character within feminism which is problematic, I mean which within the male power. So they say no, it is patriarchy. Patriarchy is a relationship of power between man and woman, okay, right, which rule of father in general terms, but yes, it is a relationship of power. So they say it is the patriarchy, it is the cultural oppression also that is very problematic. So radical feminists give what idea of the state? They say state is not autonomous. Even if it appears autonomous, it is not autonomous. It is not autonomous of the idea or neutral like the liberals are saying. It may appear to be autonomous of class, okay, and other things, but it is not. It is biased. And in what dimensions? This, in the sex dimension. How? Because the power that is there, it is legitimized. The male power is legitimized through laws, right? Male power is exercised through oppression, through domination in these laws. It is epistemic. Epistemic power is what power? Which is the ability to influence something. Like for example, if I am a political science teacher, so whatever I say on that particular discipline, it automatically gains legitimacy. If it is a mathematics professor, And if they say, the very idea that that person is professor means that person has the knowledge of that particular field. So whatever they say will obviously get legitimized. Similarly, male power is also epistemic. Whatever they say automatically gains legitimacy because they have the ability to influence these decisions. Okay? And it is regime, which means it is how things are established. It is the rule of the male power. Okay? The government of the day is ruled by male power, is the idea of radical feminists. So have we decoded the question in the first place? So let's see the structure. So structure will come what? First, we will be talking of the feminist theory, feminism as a school of thought, and how it has many varieties of underlying the various oppressions that happen against women. So it is actually a meta-ideology in that sense. However, now let's see what does feminism say. Okay? So first we say that different feminists highlight different issues, and according to that they are talking of the role of the state. So first we talk of the liberal feminism, right? Mary Wollstonecraft, J.S. Mill, others, right? What do they say? The problem is the political and legal equality if ensured. So for them, state is a neutral institution. For them, state is not a class institution. And state can play a positive role in addressing these inequalities by giving women to participate in politics, by making laws which are more fairer. Okay? Then the radical feminists come, and radical feminists highlight patriarchy. So we will be in detail talking of whose view? Catherine MacKinnon. So what does she say? She says, when I look at the state, it appears male to me. In her which work? Towards a feminist theory of the state. Okay? In this way, this particular question had to be answered. Let's see. So feminism as a school of thought, we will talk how it is eliminating the oppression of women and improving the condition of women. How different feminist schools talk about different sources of women oppression. And then we give the context here so that the examiner knows we have understood what is asked. That the above statement is the radical feminist criticism of liberal perspective on state. Liberal perspective, liberal feminist perspective. Okay? So first for liberal feminism, what? State is a neutral mediator between different interest groups. Okay? They believe state is a neutral mediator, can rectify bias by providing equality before law. So they look at the state in a positive terms. Then comes the radical feminist. Okay? So Catherine MacKinnon says, she locates the oppression of patriarchy in which, right, that it cannot be addressed by legal, political equality or class conflict. So she says structural domination of men is in all aspects of society. And obviously they say personal is political, so how women are oppressed through laws and how the state enters in the ideas of divorce, marriage, inheritance, property rights, and oppress women. Okay? So sphere of power is men's domination and power itself. And state is a patriarchal state. Okay? So then she talks in towards feminist theory. State is male in the feminist say. How coercively and authoritatively it constitutes the social order. So it is not autonomous and neutral. It exercises, like Weber says what? State has a monopoly to legitimately exercise force. So when MacKinnon criticizes this, that this legitimately using force is a male power against the female, how domination is used. So who are the people who are most troubled in wars? It is the women. Okay, so they view the state in negative terms. And then you say that how different ideas enrich our understanding of the state. Is this much understood? So we've got the context of the question correct. So it was not that we had to only talk of the different feminist views. We had to criticize the liberal view by the radical feminism. Okay? Now, let's see question number 2. Okay. So explicate the post-colonial theory of the state. Very simple and direct question, post-colonial theory of the state. So first we talk about what? Theory. So first we will be talking of the post-colonial. Which states are post-colonial? Okay, the states in the third world countries. States in third world countries. All right? So developing states. So we are talking of the post-colonial theory. So which are the states which are post-colonial? Third world states, okay, developing states. Now, let's see how it has come into being. So post-colonial theory of state can be divided into two spheres, which means two schools of thought. One is the liberal perspective, and the other is the Marxist perspective. Okay? So let's analyze the liberal perspective first. So in the liberal perspective, we have the idea of prismatic societies by Riggs, F.W. Riggs. And what does Riggs say? So that in these states, there is existence of what? Modernity as well as tradition. There is a lot of gap that comes in what? Theory and practice, right? There are multiple institutions, and still the idea of what? Nation state has not developed, okay? Because state developed, but the idea of nation has not come. So there is a lot of heterogeneity, right? He says there's a lot of heterogeneity within these states. Multiple groups exist as cultural units. They themselves act as different nations, okay? And he talks of two different models. So economic model as well as the administrative model. Administrative model. So bazaar canteen model, right, where things are not operating like that on the demand and other things. And then is the Shala model. So even in the sphere, okay, of the administration, right, there is a set of different cultural norms which play a role, which play influence. So we can't expect that kind of neutrality even in the administrative sphere. The norms, values of people influence their decision making even in the public sphere, in the administrative sphere. This is the idea within the liberal state. The second idea within the liberal perspective on post-colonial state is soft state. And soft state is given by the Gunnar Myrdal, okay? So what does Gunnar Myrdal say? Gunnar Myrdal says, okay, that these states are soft states. Why? Because they have a colonial heritage, colonial legacy, right? And people are used to the act of civil disobedience, right? For example, in countries like Indonesia, Pakistan, India, right? And imagine, even today, India has the Naxalist challenge, and we are not using extremist measures against them. So there is a criticism that way, that India is a soft state, okay? But we know that how we are doing nation building by more democratic means, and they are our people. So India being a soft state is like a criticism that way, fine? So you got the two perspectives in the liberal school of thought. Then we will be coming within the Marxist perspective. So the idea is the overdeveloped state, right, by Hamza Alawi, which means the bureaucratic, the military organization, the idea of force, okay, is very, very strong. So within Marxist framework, you talk about the what? Overdeveloped state. Now let's see the theme. So first, what is the post-colonial states? Who are the post-colonial states? Why they have come into being? What are the key features? However, what are the debates? So third world developing, right? How they are different from the states in the West. Now let's see two perspectives. To liberal perspective, there have been other methodologies also: political development, political modernization, political cultural approach. However, F.W. Riggs talks about prismatic societies. You can give some features as well. And Gunnar Myrdal talks about what? Right? In his work, Asian Drama talks about soft state. There are other scholars who call India also as a functional anarchy, and fine, but there's no need to emphasize too much here, no problem. The second perspective is the Marxist school of thought. So first school is instrumentalist school, which talks of idea of there is development of underdevelopment within these states in Latin America. Because so these other core countries are utilizing the resources in these countries, and rather than saying there is development, there is more underdevelopment that is occurring. So how the resource distribution and terms of trade are, they are not very favorable. So the instrumentalist school within the post-colonial context is known as dependency school or development of underdevelopment, okay? Then the structural school within the Hamza Alawi talks of overdeveloped state, how military and other forces have been used, right, in order to repress people, suppress people, all right? So these are the two key traditions that students usually have confusion. I hope it has become clear, fine? Thank you so much. All the very best.